My father was a boiler master. We lived hard by the factory. And from our home's very windows, one could gaze into the factory yard. I saw a good many things in the time of my youth. There was a working man there, for instance, who had worked in the factory a solid 5 years. He began to develop this very violent cough. And then his flesh began to rot away. I recalled how my father told us about the sickly man at the table. His name was Burmeister, and he was threatened with pulmonary consumption. That is, if he continued to work in the soap factory much longer, he would die. The doctor had told him so, but the man had 8 children, for goodness sake. And weak and emaciated as he was, he couldn't find other work anywhere. So he had to stay in the soap factory. And his employer was quite self-righteous because he had kept the man. One August afternoon, the heat was frightful. Burmeister dragged himself across the factory yard with a wheelbarrow full of lime. I was just looking out the window when I noticed him stop and start and stop again and finally pitch over headlong into the cobblestones. I ran up to him. My father came, other working men came up, but Burmeister could barely gasp. His mouth was filled with blood. I helped carry him into the house. He was a mass of limey rags, reeking of all kinds of chemicals. Before we had even gotten him into the house, he was dead. Scarcely a week later, we pulled his wife's body out of the river into which the waste lye of our factory was drained. And when one knows things of that kind as I know them now, believe me, one can find no rest. A simple little piece of soap, which makes no one else in the world think of any harm. Even a pair of clean, well cared for hands are enough to embitter one thoroughly.